Well, it has been 20 years, after all, since the first Star Trek episodes were filmed for television, and I have to ask Leonard Nimoy if you could give us a sense of contrast now. That was then, this is now. A lot's gone under the bridge in 20 years.
Yeah. A lot has changed. All the other people are 20 years older. I'm not, but they are.
That's amazing phenomenon.
It's strange what happened to those people.
How about the costumes? Do they still fit as well?
A little adjustment here and there. I've gained some weight. I put on, in the last year, about 15 pounds because I quit smoking. So now I eat. Like I used to skip meals, now I eat.
Mr. Shatner describes those early sets as being like pit furniture. You arrange them in groups like wedges of pies.
That's true. That's true.
So even that aspect of it has changed considerably.
Yeah, everything has changed. We have changed. The approach to the show has changed. I would say on another level, in another way, we have now come back full circle in Star Trek IV. I think we're closer in attitude towards to the original series.
Hence that subtitle,
yeah,
The Voyage Home, because it's home in every respect of the
I
term.
agree. I think it's a very appropriate title, yeah. We're very much in the spirit that we used to have when we were making the series.
And speaking of home, you have a concern for home. Ecological imbalance, species protection. This traditionally has been a priority on the part of science fiction and fantasy writers and readers. I assume you're aware of this. And going into this project, this is going to be very close to home for many of these people. Tell us about your own passions about ecological imbalance. You said yesterday species are disappearing all the time.
Yeah, I became curious about introducing that idea, the possibility of introducing that into this film when I read a book called Biophilia. A biologist named Wilson at Harvard wrote it and tells us in the book that in the 1990s we'll be losing 10,000 species per year off the planet at the rate we're going now. And that's an average of one species per hour. And what really is fascinating and concern-inducing is that many of them will not even have been recorded. We won't even know that they were here. We won't even know what they were. The scientists will not have even gotten to them. They're gone. This picture essentially is an entertainment piece, but there is an opportunity in the film to introduce the idea that something that we're losing today may turn out to be suddenly terribly important to us 100 or 200 or 300 years from now.
So and I understand in your decision to select such a species, at first you decided upon plants.
Well, we thought about some kind of a plant that we might need to maybe create a medicine or something that's gone, and what are we going to do about it? The point is we had to come back in time to get something to bring it into the 25th century to save Earth, and what was it going to be? Either a person or a plant or a bird or a fish or whatever, and we decided on a couple of very large type creatures.
One aspect of coming home, I think, is in your character. Of course, you and those classic confrontations with Bones.
Isn't that interesting?
It's always reminding you to be human.
We do have a lot of homecomings in this picture. We come back to Earth now, 1986. We come back to the spirit of the series as the way we were doing it in the 60s, and Spock comes back to his full identity at the end of this picture.
Feeling fine.
You're right. Yeah, feeling fine. That's right.
I'd like to ask you one other thing now about this preservation of species business. How about preserving the original negatives of the Star Trek films? Martin Scorsese has raised a lot of issues about mismanagement of negatives and materials disappearing and disintegrating and all of that.
Yes.
Are you ensuring that we can see the Star Trek theatrical presentations maybe in another 25 years?
Good question. I don't own the film. I don't own the negative. It's obviously the property of Paramount Pictures and not mine. But I would think that they are taking very good care to see to it that the storage facilities that they use are right to preserve the film. It's true that there was a time when there were some very slovenly practices and some very important film was lost because it wasn't preserved properly, it wasn't stored properly.
Cleopatra looked real bad in muddy colors.
Yeah, right. I'm sure that Paramount values this stuff and knows that it's going to be valuable over the years to come and is taking proper care to see to that it lasts.
Finally, I can't wait to see what kind of costuming you'll be wearing in another 25 years. But the girth won't expand, will it?
I wore that robe in the streets of San Francisco and had a good time with it. I think people enjoy it.
Members of Starbase in Kansas City and Star Trek organizations, I guess, are waiting for a message from you, from Mr. Spock.
Live long and prosper.
Let me not interrupt you on that.
Live long and prosper.
I'm John Tibbetts with Leonard Nimoy, Star Trek IV here in Los Angeles for KCTV5.